I think we have the chart here of the amount of how the budget has increased. And now of course when COVID hit, we got hit with a ton of money. We'll talk about that in a second here, but I don't have I can't see that exactly, but it almost looks like it doubled or almost a third more or something along those
lines. In the last 10 years, it's more than doubled.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, it's gone up, or the last 4 years, it's gone up by over 50%. A lot of that is federal COVID money, but the problem is that money starts getting in there, and then the agencies get used to having it. They spend it for ongoing projects instead of one-time things, and then when the federal money runs out, they come running to JFAC and to the legislature saying, we need more money for this.
Yeah.
And as long as there's tax dollars available, they feel like, okay, well, we can allocate those, we can appropriate those.
And that's exactly what happened yesterday at the work when they talked about Senator Grow, the co-chair of JFAC, asked about I think a $15 million another $15 million to go in this workforce housing program that was started using COVID money. Let's watch this.
Second question is on the workforce housing fund. Could you give us a little detail? What exactly is that 15 million spent for there?
Ms. Wolf.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Senator Grow. So I believe it was in 22 when we developed the workforce housing fund in statute, and that money transfers into that fund, and then IHFA uses that to help build, I want to say, affordable housing, but it offsets some of the costs so that they can sell those homes or build those. A lot of it was multifamily homes. They also did do some single family homes, but trying to keep the costs down of so that it's more affordable when people are either renting or purchasing that. And we're just mirroring this recommendation off exactly what we did with the workforce housing fund a couple of years ago that was supported back in 22. It was $50 million, and that was ARPA funding. So this is 15, not 50, and it's a one-time transfer.
Only 15, not 50. And that's because it's not COVID money. It wasn't just printed out of thin air and given to the states. And ARPA money is COVID money, right, Brian?
Exactly. It was a bunch of money that they dumped into state and local governments. Here in my hometown of Eagle, they used some of that for a broadband citywide broadband project. That's of course, once they run out of money, then it's the burden's going to fall on local taxpayers, and that's the problem with all this federal money. They get you addicted to free money, and then it runs out, and the next hit costs more.
Yeah, and we have a screenshot here. We wanted to look into this program. Or we have the website here, but you can go to this is the National Low Income Housing Coalition, and they helped set up the Idaho Workforce Housing Fund, and so we put this into statute, and it's the description's right there. In 2022, the legislature created the Workforce Housing Fund to use the federal ARPA money from 21. Now look up here in the funding source. Look at that special one-time federal funding, $50 million. One time. That was it. But now we have this program, and now we're compelled to fund it. And then if you stop funding it, Brian, what happens? Then you get blamed for saying, oh, we don't want to help, low-income families with their housing, and it's so hard, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, this is where they set us up for failure. They set you up for failure to just keep the spigot flowing with money. This is egregious. I'm glad Senator Grow mentioned it. I hope they do something about it. And this is the kind of fight and battles that they're going to expect. We expect to have in JFAC and even on the House and Senate floor. It looks like they came up with two terminologies. There's the maintenance bills and then the enhancement bills, mm-hmm. right? What do you know about those two? Because I think we're going to be hearing a lot of those terms.
So this was the pilot program that Senator Grow and Representative Horman pioneered last year that got a lot of pushback. The former pro tem Chuck Winder and several others, former Representative Megan Blanksma, were apparently very much opposed to this process, in which they take all the operating expenses from last year and just roll them up in, last year they did 10 omnibus budget bills. Typically in Idaho, we don't like omnibus bills, but this was a way to get the stuff that everybody agreed. We'd already voted on it last year, already approved it last year. We're just going to do that this year. get them out early so that then JFAC can spend its time examining the new requests. Okay, what more money are they asking for? And then those they can have a little bit more time to scrutinize. And it also gives the floors, the Senate and the House floors, more freedom to send a bill back because they're not worried, on the last day of the session about forcing everybody to cancel their vacation because they have to argue over some minor line item in a massive budget. Instead, they have more time to actually go through and say, we're not going to fund this one. And that's what happened last year with the summer EBT program. The Biden administration was pushing a program that would give EBT cards to a lot of families, even more than just low-income families, more than just qualified for free.
Yeah, everybody.
School. And that came through, and nobody was really paying attention. And then it got to the Senate floor, and the senators voted against that, defeated it, sent it back to JFAC, and JFAC stripped the program. And of course, Democrats and the media said that we just hate children and want them to starve, but obviously that's not the case. As you saw with these programs, with these COVID funds, once you get a government program going and people become dependent on it, then they demand that it keep going and you keep funding it. Had something like summer EBT been used, people would have just come to expect government to pay for their lunches during the summertime with free money. And we don't want to build that kind of dependence in the people of Idaho. We want people to be self-reliant, not dependent on an ever-expanding government.
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. And look, when the governor stands up there and talks about wanting to sort of advance and help the Trump administration, which includes the Doge, right? Oh, Idaho was Doge before the federal government was, the Department of Government Efficiency. This is exactly the type of thing you cut. You say, done, done, or consolidate it with something else. But you don't, no, not even consolidate. What am I talking about? Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. It was created during COVID. And one of the reasons they probably don't want to get rid of it, how many employees, how many CTEs are we paying, and they're going to lose their job, right? Well, we're not here to protect government jobs. Go get a private sector job, right? I mean, cut this program. I mean, this is what we need to see.
The ironclad rule of government programs is eventually everyone, whatever its original mission, its mission becomes protecting itself and perpetuating itself and expanding itself. And that just happens with everything. It's the old saying that there's, the closest thing to eternal life on earth is a government program. So once it's there, it's very hard to get rid of. So, we need to get rid of a ton, but even easier is to nip them in the bud before people start coming in and growing them. Let's stop them from being made in the first place.
Right, exactly. All right, Brian. Well, thanks for stopping by again today. It's always we're gonna have you on. I mean, I keep feeling like you're just gonna be like coming in every once in a while. But man, the people love it. The people want you here, and I'm glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the chance to come in and talk politics and keep people informed. An informed citizen is a better engaged citizen.
Yeah, and remind people where they can follow you.
Head over to gemstatechronicle.com. Yesterday, I wrote a long article about the school choice bills that are on the docket, and obviously Representative Hostetler's bill is going to change that conversation too. Also follow me on X at GemStateBrian.